All right, I'll just introduce you real quick. Hey guys, sorry about the intro there. It looked like it completely scuffed on me, but oh shoot, and I'm echoing too. Man, I'm like everything is possibly. Yeah, it's perfect. All right, we're good. All right, guys. I've got a special guest today for the podcast. We're going to be doing Hyper Scape games and then just talking about the game. He's the lead developer for the game Hyper Scape that we've been playing on stream for the past week. And we're just going to kind of chill, chat, and then we're going to play some games. So let me just unmute him and bring him in. What's going on? Good. Oh, shoot. Let's see, not capturing it, of course. Oh, technical difficulties at their finest here. Let's see here. Yeah, I think we're good. Let's see. All right, now we're think like everybody can hear you now.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, all right, right on. I'm excited. Like, I've been having a ton of fun playing the game for like the last whatever it's been, the last 3 or 4 days, and like just completely, I don't know, like it's like awoken something in me that just makes me want to like absolutely like grind a game again, which is totally crazy. I don't know, like I don't know. I've been playing Fortnite for like 2 years, and like Gabby kind of told me about this game like a couple weeks ago when it was going into like the tech test, and like it just like I was like I don't know like if I'm gonna want to switch or whatever, and then like yeah, the thing dropped, and it's just like I don't know. What do you like? What do you think that it is like that? Like the thing that kind of like is it the speed of it? Is it the I don't know? Is it like that little bit of like adrenaline that you get from it? Like what do you think? Like
I think it's just different than everything else. Like, it's really, it doesn't play, it's a Battle Royale, yes, in the Battle Royale genre, but it doesn't play like another Battle Royale. You know what I mean? Like, find something that has, the minute to minute, the speed, the verticality, the hacks, there's nothing. It's really sat in its own space. And I think there's a lot of cool stuff to unlock, and I think the gameplay is fast and frantic. You know what I mean? So you're always in it, and then when you die, you're not stuck, watching someone else's camera because you failed to get out of, the respawn, and you're not even when you're dead and you manage to respawn. No one's camping your respawn point because they're completely dynamic. The tombstones appear where other people have died, so you're not stuck, like. Other games where you go to respawn point and there's a sniper sat on the hill, you're like, hey, respawn, boom, dead, and then that's you finished.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. They don't exactly know where they are, right? Like a living,
sure.
like a living player doesn't know where it's at, so it's kind of like, yeah, exactly. And I think that's something about like, my instinct is always when you die in a BR is to like, take a break, right? Like sit back and like, all right, well, it's the rest of my squad's turn now, or you're getting sent to the, to the gulag, or they've got your card or something like that, and it's like you're sort of in this passive mode for a bit, but I think that the idea that it's not over until like and like I don't know, and then like the scouting ability and like it's so interactive that you just don't get a chance to take that quick break or whatever. But
and we wanted that to be an active thing, though. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want players to be stuck. I wanted them to be active and have fun. It's like, oh, there's a guy over there. Hey, be careful. Come here. Let's res here, etc. So, I think that's really changed up, the way players play because it just doesn't feel like anything else.
For sure. What were some so like I think some of the other things I've been thinking about were like games that I grew up on, like games that I had played, kind of like, as shooters were sort of becoming a thing and like kind of coming out, and like I was trying to think back on games that this kind of reminds me of, and I think that there's a little bit of nostalgia I have with this game where it feels like games like like Unreal Tournament or like some of those like early shooters that kind of had similar elements that yeah, I don't know. That's I think that's part of it. I think that's part of the thing that I love so much about it is I can kind of draw to all these different games that I've played, throughout the years. And what were some of the inspirations that you guys had for it when you kind of were developing it?
Like, I mean, it's definitely got some of the Quake flavor and the Unreal flavor, and a lot of the guys on the team and girls on the team were playing them growing up as well. You know what I mean? It was I grew up playing Quake 3. I was playing a lot of Unreal as well. So the speed and movement, the maneuverability, the jumping, like a lot of that feels very, tied into the way it was in Quake for sure.
Yeah.
So they were like kind of, the key things would, I wouldn't say we looked at. I think it's part of our DNA as gamers because we build games, but we're all gamers at heart. Like, there's not a single person on this team who just builds game but doesn't play. Like, everyone's playing their own stuff as well. So for sure, you've got all the flavor and inspiration we've had through, well, for me, I guess more than 30 years of playing video games. It's like there's always a little bit of something everywhere.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think yeah, we kind of touched on that before we got on the call. Was like we were having troubles with Discord, but just talking about you said you were 40, I'm 36. Like we've literally grown up through like from Atari and NES
Yeah.
to to like today, and it's like you've kind of seen all of those different kind of stepping stones. And I would assume that someone doesn't get into your career unless they're passionate about gaming. It just wouldn't make sense. So
I think you
it's
need to understand, you need to be passionate about the product that you're building and the type
hmm
of game you're building. Like the team itself, me included, we played battle royales forever. I played,
hmm
shooters forever as well. So it allows you to bring the flavor, but it also allows you to understand what the quality bar needs to be like. You want to come into the market with something that's different. You
hmm
want it to be solid, and you want to be proud of what you're bringing. That's why we put so much effort into making sure, that the technical test ran well, and we're putting as much effort in again to make sure that the beta is just as good and better. And
hmm
in terms of service and everything else. And when we have issues, we talk to the community. We're like, hey, this weapon's overpowered. Bang, gets fixed. Hey, you have a problem with this. Bang, gets fixed. Like we did. Tech test was only like 6 days, but we did a patch, in the last 2 days to address some issues people were having with the Hexfire. So
yeah.
we listen, we pay attention, and we want to be reactive and make sure that we're consistently updating and improving the game as we go.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, so I guess one of the things that I've noticed is I feel like the weapons that you guys launched with, they seem like very like standard variations of guns that we're very familiar. You've got an AR, you've got an SMG, you've got a couple of explosive type weapons, RPG type weapons. Was that part of like releasing with something that was very solid, like something that was like that you could kind of control a little bit more with maybe less variables? And are there, I guess, and then the second part of that would be, are there plans to have weapons that maybe push the limits a little bit, or create maybe more creative uses and that sort of thing, maybe coming down the road?
I would say that, we built weapons for the roles that we wanted them to fulfill in the way that made game balance. I wouldn't say we necessarily built stuff to be, conservative or whatever. We built
Okay.
things that felt right in the time and filled the role because, shotgun and harpy, which we just introduced in the open beta, have a very, positive place in the interiors, going room to room, short range, and then the sniper's obviously accessible from the rooftops, and then you have Ripper and Hexfire, which is a bit more, mid-long, mid-short.
Yep.
So, I mean, they were there for the roles, again, not to be conservative, just because they were the roles that felt right. We introduced the Harpy in the beta. That's obviously faster fire SMG. And the goal is every season. So when we release season one, when we eventually come around to release the game fully, there's obviously a new weapon in season one, and every season after we'll introduce at least a weapon each time. There'll
That
always be
makes
weapons
sense.
and hacks with every release because we want to keep it fresh. Like, people adapt to a gameplay style and they're like, okay, I'm going to play like this. And then
hmm
we're like, okay, we introduced a new hack and a new weapon that completely nullifies that play style. And everyone's like, oh, okay, cool. Now I need to find a new one. So it
Yeah.
keeps you learning and it keeps the gameplay fresh as well, which I
That
think is
makes
really important.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was kind of talking with some friends this afternoon, kind of talking about like coming on and doing this, and that was one of the things they were most curious about was what's your guys' plan to like what's going to be the hook to keep players kind of engaged and like kind of keep players wanting to like grind kind of grind throughout a season and like like I guess what kind of what you're saying is like relearning kind of relearning strategies and coming up with new ways to sort of utilize or exploit the items that you're making available. I guess that kind
But
of makes
through a season, you'll see, like I say, a new hack, a new weapon. You'll see new game cards that players, that viewers can play for the streamers. So these things will always be there. There'll be map changes, and times from time to time we'll have events as well. So the seasons will always have stuff going on. Like you're not gonna, start of the season and then it's gonna be the same thing for like 8 to 9 weeks until the next one kicks off. Like that's not the view at all. I mean, we even showed that in tech test. We did the Dark Haze solo mode as part of
yeah.
tech test. So we're showing right from the start, we're building something that's live and we have a lot of ideas, and we want to get them up and rolling. So
Yeah, for sure. And it is the plan is, I guess that was the other kind of question that I was getting from people was the maps. Like is that the plan, is to kind of make it as fluid as possible and then have like you said in-game events that will affect the the layout and
you'll
things
see
like
stuff
that.
changing. Yeah, yeah. You'll see, I mean, The other kind of key pillar for us is we didn't want to build just a battle royale with skins in it. Like I feel like that's been done to death. So there's a
Hmm.
big narrative arc over things. If you watch what we showed as part of UB Forward with the
Hmm.
cinematic piece, that kind of explains the backstory. You'll see that every season has an overall narrative arc, and
Yeah,
then the events, the map changes, the characters, the various things you find in the world will all tie into that narrative arc. So if you find a character you like, you'll be able to follow that character from season to season and see what they're doing and what's changing. So that's really important for us as well.
that's really cool. Okay, so there is a story that's going to sort of develop, and it's not just in the launch. It's something that's going to be sort of an ongoing, kind of
Yeah,
like
it'll be
through
gold
lines and things
forever.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Every season will have a narrative arc and key beats behind it, and then events, map changes, characters,
Okay,
story bits will all tie into those things. So
okay.
I really want it to be fun and interactive, but also have a story element for those who are looking for a slightly deeper experience.
That's cool. Yeah, because like when I saw the game trailer, on the event you guys did on Sunday, the one thing that it kind of made me think of was like the movie Ready Player One, and how they have that kind of like that interactive universe where like players are sort of entering this universe and playing games, and there's certain games that are like the most popular games within the game or whatever. But the element of that movie that I always loved was all of the like retro, like like the customization in the character, but then also like all of the like little Easter eggs and like retro items and things like that. Like that would be like a dream for me in this game, would be to see some kind of like some sort of like licensed content for my character or something like that, where I could like, I don't even know what I would want, but you know what I mean, just to be able to snipe something from from those types of things that kind of give it a little bit of flair, or I don't know, something fun like that. But I don't know, I know that stuff's like, I don't know, it's more of like a dream, but it's like, how can that be possible, kind of thing.
I think for us, because we're based in the future, we're based in a virtual world, we can kind of do what we want. You're not stuck in the boundaries and realms of realism, where like if we built a military shooter, there's only certain things you can do before they become so realistic and fantastic it doesn't make sense in your IP anymore.
Hmm.
Whereas for us, you could add whatever you wanted.
Yeah. And are you guys planning, and I mean, I guess that's like, I don't want to like give like spoilers, but like changing the aesthetic over time too? Like is that kind of like part of that plan, where it's sort of an evolving aesthetic?
I think
Like,
everything's possible, to be
okay.
honest. I
Okay.
mean, some stuff's planned to a more I'd say higher level of precision right now, and think there's more ideas. Like there's a bucket of stuff we're definitely going to do, which is large. There's a bucket of stuff we might do, which is also large, and then there's the big bucket of this all sounds cool, but what do we do with this? And that
Yeah.
bucket's huge with a million different ideas.
I'm sure. Was there, I guess, in development, was there something that like made it a long way in the game, but then eventually was like kind of thrown out, that maybe was a cool idea, or something that like that you thought you would see on launch, that just kind of had to get scrapped, or just maybe was like an imbalance, something like that, like something kind of cool that you kind of were like wanted to see happen, but it just like ultimately wasn't right for the game?
I think that yes, I'm not going to go into too many more details, but I'll explain a little bit.
Yeah,
But so,
yeah, I get I
I
get
think
being vague, but I just it's,
No, so for sure. I
yeah.
mean, in game development, there's always a few things that you carry fairly long, and then you get to the end and you're like, And it might not be that it's bad, it's you can't finish it to the level of quality you want, or it doesn't quite work, or it doesn't work for performance reasons. There's like a big list of reasons and possibilities for why stuff doesn't get done at the end. It
Mhm.
can be fairly long. But the plus point with us for this is because we're in this for the long term, because we're going to go, build season after season after season, these things allow us to look at bringing back things, whereas generally if you've built a $60 box game, when you've cut something, unless you have a significant DLC slash, long-term plan behind it,
Yeah.
then it's usually gone for good. For us, for most things, you can, they won't they don't have to be gone for good unless they were like just a non-functional idea or completely imbalanced. I think the other thing to bear in mind as well when you're building shooters and competitive things is sometimes you build stuff that's fun for the player that uses it, and you're like, hey, this is a cool ability, but then it's completely unfun for the person who got it done to them. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? So you have to be careful on some things that you build like that. So there's various learnings on things we built, and we're like, hey, this is cool, and then we try it, and we're like, I don't know. And it's playtest and time spent and feedback that help us make those decisions. We always want to make good decisions based
Yeah.
on a multitude of data and feedback.
Yeah, I like that. And I think that one of the things I noticed in this game pretty quickly was because like especially coming from Fortnite and like the building mechanic in that game, it's evolved so much over the first few seasons to now. The abilities that you guys put in, the hacks that you guys have put into the game, I feel like it's very intuitive and very like you can learn them very quickly, but also learn how to use them in creative ways very quickly, which I think is a really like it's just a big achievement for you guys. Like I think it's neat to be playing a game for 3 or 4 days and feel like you can do pretty much whatever comes to mind. Like if you have an idea or something you want to try, like being able to just like pull those things off like pretty fluidly. And I think I've been really really impressed with that. Yeah, it's neat, and it's like you get kind of like instant gratification out of out of using those hacks and kind of messing around and doing things like that, which I think is pretty neat.
And pushed a lot on those and the fluency of movement and the fluency of hack usage. And we always want players to be able to play in a play style that makes sense to them. Some people are good at sniping and they want to teleport and be invisible and snipe from the rooftops. Other guys, want to be in the streets with a shotgun and the harpy, and
Yeah.
moving building to building, maybe using shield, maybe using teleport. So you can really adjust your play style to the way you want with what you pick up. And I think the other key thing for me that's cool is the fact that you can start your game with one play style, play halfway through, bring the contender number down, and then you can absolutely adjust it for another one. You can go from being, close combat Johnny with his shotgun and his harpy to being the guy with the sniper on the roof and the Ripper. So,
Yeah.
those things give you a big variety in the way you want to play.
Yeah, it is interesting, like how late game all of a sudden it makes sense to like drop, like drop your mobility items, keep something that's more defensive or something that's going to be, better for close quarters, and like you're kind of like adjusting how you're playing, once you get into that crown phase or yeah, it's really interesting. Or when you're in that like, hey, we've got a long ways to go, all of a sudden, the way that the zones have sort of set up, we've got a lot, travel a long way, so now we're picking up mobility hacks and that kind of thing. It's kind of, I don't know. I love how you guys did that, and I think the way the zones disappear, like it really keeps you on your toes and makes you have to kind of constantly, monitor the map and kind of look at where you're sitting and that kind of thing. So it's fun, super fun.
I mean, that was a big innovation we pushed as well. We didn't want to just do, an ever shrinking circle and build something that felt the same again. I mean, you now can't hide in those buildings. You can stay for a bit and then the building's going to be gone. And then it really makes you move up and think of the way you do things and move from zone to zone, and be clever about how you both pick off people who are in those zones and get yourself out of them as well.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think I was showing a friend a clip that I had last night where the building that I was standing in was slowly disappearing, and the enemy was becoming invisible, and all of a sudden I was able to shoot him, and they were like they're trying to describe this and explain this to someone that is not familiar with your game is like it's so much fun because they just get interested really quick because they've never seen a mechanic like that before. They're like, what do you mean the building is disappearing? And it's just like it's a really, I don't know. I think that's some of the stuff I really am enjoying with this is like, I don't know, just talking to people about it and like explaining how it differs from the games. Maybe they're a PUBG player, or maybe they've been playing Apex or something like that, and it's like explaining why this is so different from everything else that's been out, even though it has maybe like some elements or things that feel familiar, but it's, I don't know, it's really really cool. So yeah, why don't we, you want to jump in and get
Yeah, let's
get
play
a
a
couple
couple of
rounds?
games.
Let's do it. I'm gonna drag Ethan in here as well. All right, cool. Let's do it. I'm excited. I think we're good. Here. Invite.
So let me tab out and reboot this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got time for a couple of games.
Okay, cool. Should be good.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Ethan. All right. Cool. All right, I'm good. So you've been doing a lot of these, a lot of these interviews and kind of just talking to a lot of streamers and a lot of people that have been playing the game. How many of them have been on controller? Have you talked to many people that are playing on an
Uh,
Xbox or PlayStation controller?
haven't really asked, to be honest.
Okay.
I see people. I haven't. It's not a discussion I really had with anybody. I watched a lot of people play, and those that have shown, their hands, like Tifu, for example, who shows what he's doing. So, he's been on keyboard and mouse mostly, I
hmm
think. Haven't really had the discussion I'm playing on keyboard and mouse at the minute. I think there's a couple of people in the office that are playing on controller as well, but I think to most parts, people are mostly playing on keyboard and mouse.
Yeah. So yeah, the reason I ask is that I'm primarily a console player. So and I have a lot of people in my community that are also console players, whether they're on Xbox or PlayStation. So for me, this is like I don't generally play PC games. I have like I'm almost always on Xbox, but I'm really like I would be kind of curious what people like what type of feedback you're getting on the controller aspect of it because I don't see too many issues. I've had a couple of issues with like when I swap my weapon. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't immediately fire, and I'm not sure if that's like just a timing thing or if there's like a small like a timing hiccup, that kind of thing there.
There's a
Um,
few different. We have a patch coming soon. I
mhm.
won't confirm quite how soon, but we do have a patch coming to the open beta that fix some of those interrupt issues. So we do have a few that we
Okay.
know about. I mean, we want it to be fluent all the
Mhm.
time. Weapon swapping is one of those things. So some of these are addressed in the next patch. So you'll be able to see once it comes out.
Okay. And then how much aim assist is there? I mean, or is there any? How does
That
that
would
system set up?
be a question for the game director. That's not one for me. I don't go. I'm not in the lowest of low-level details on topics
Okay.
like that.
Okay. So okay, I was just curious. All right, that's fine. But yeah, I've also noticed on on social, it seems like there's a lot of requests for the console version. So that seems like
There is a
it's
lot.
yeah, it seemed like I was looking at comments on a tweet from the game the other day, and it was like 90% of it was like, when are you gonna have a console version of the game? And I'm assuming that's just gonna be on launch, right? I mean, that's the
Yeah, well,
plan.
once we launch season one, at the time we launch season one, console will be there.
Wow. And then what consoles are you guys gonna launch on?
PS4 and Xbox One.
Perfect. Okay. And then you've got it's gonna be set up for the new whatever the new versions probably immediately as well, like
Uh,
whenever those drop.
for PS5, I will need to look. I think that supports back compat anyway, so it should be okay.
Okay. Cool. All right. So just
Okay, I'm in the game if you want to invite me into your session.
okay. Good. Are you seeing the invite?
Not quite yet. Let me see, Shift F2. Notifications. Yeah, I do know.
Okay.
Okay, I'm joining your game.
Cool. All right. And I'm getting some. All right. We should be good.
Okay, let me turn off in-game voice chat because I can hear you twice at the minute.
Okay. Do that as well.
Okay. That should be good now. Yep,
Okay. All right. Cool.
fixed.
Cool. Let's do it.
Ready for Squad Crown Rush? Only one squad can win by claiming and holding the crown or by eliminating all other squads.
Is there a story behind this like tower thing in the middle of this like starting area? Because it's got to be the most frustrating thing in my life right now, because I just can't figure out the jump to get up there consistently.
With the hologram in the middle with Grace? Or...
No. There's like the giant tower with like the crown on it. It's like the most frustrating thing because I just want to jump up there every time I launch in, and I just cannot figure it out. It's just funny.
It's cool. You see guys doing the jumping puzzle. It's fun.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, yeah, I think it is a lot of fun, but it's like It's the one thing that I like constantly try to do every time I load in, and like just can never figure it out. I think.
And
I
there's
don't know.
always one guy up there as well. It's funny.
Oh yeah, just baiting me. Like, why can't you get up here, dude? Like, I don't know. It's funny.
Okay.
All right, where are we gonna go here?
We should go closest to where we're going. Do you want to go Mona?
Okay, let's do it.
We'll be quick to action though, just so you know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's all good. Played a little. I'm not. I haven't been grinding. I work. Yeah, I work full time, so I'm basically, you know, I play after work, that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, really enjoying it. I think I did put like 5 hours on after work on Monday. It was like the first time I played 5 hours on a game like after working a full day in a long time. Where I was just like, I just gotta get on. I gotta play. I didn't even get in. I'm just gonna go in.
They're chasing me.
Oh shoot.
First strike.
Let's get to work. Something for now.
I've only got a skybreaker.
Okay. All right. I jumped to like a house like out in the.
Got a hack.
I'm in trouble at the minute. Oh,
Okay. Looking for another gun here.
I'm
Shoot.
dead. There's
Okay.
3 of them in here.
Okay.
Armed.
All right, I'm coming back.
Where's the nearest restock point? Okay. There's a couple inside, but be careful. There's a lot of people in there.
Ammo.
Be aware of your location, contenders. Sectors are starting to collapse.
There's one outside as well. There's one on the second. There's one on the first floor and there's one on the second floor. Be careful. Actually, be careful, dude.
All right, I'm gonna back off.
It's nothing.
With the amount of people in there, I think going in there is bad for life expectancy.
Seems like.
Go here if you want. It's a little bit out of the way, and there's a point over here.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna rotate it around there. I'm just gonna loot this really quick here, just to.
And we'll hopefully pick up another one on the way.
I really like the Twitch integration.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about that, but that's been working so well. Like the frustrating thing as a streamer, like when you're trying to do matchmaking, is always that no one ever knows what their in-game name is versus their Twitch name, and they're always different. So it's like, you know, you're using some sort of third-party like system to try to like matchmake with people, and it never goes well, and it's always a ton of dead time or downtime as you know. Oh shoot, guy on my back. So it's the time that it saves, and I think that it's just more entertaining for. Oh shoot, there's a guy here.
Yeah, we worked a lot on that. I mean, it's one of the pillars of the project. Like we say, game as a spectacle is a pillar of the game all up, and you know, that's a key thing we pushed a lot on. Okay, that tombstone's gone. There's one up here.
Okay.
There's dudes around here, so I guess you just restore.
Yeah, I can feel them like all over me here.
There's one on the roof up here. Just watch yourself for snipers.
Coming to you guys. Alright, coming to you.
Sectors are about to collapse.
This one should be good. It's indoors. There's a lot of bullets in the walls and stuff, but okay, I'm good.
I'm
It
almost
looks safe here. Looks, and we'll go and get another one for your friend.
Alright, I'm there.
Go.
Restoring your echo. Welcome back.
Cool, thank
Cool.
you. Let's find another one.
20 squads.
You see anything, Ethan?
Okay, it's not too far.
20 squads still on the board.
130.
20 squads on the map now.
And this
There's
building.
guys on the roof near here, be careful. I'm not shooting at me at the minute. Is still point gone?
Right down here, right by me.
I can see it.
Warning. Watch out for collapsed sectors.
This one? There's one in front of me here.
Weapon here.
You got, where's it at, Ethan? Inside here? Gotcha.
Viewers have chosen the low gravity event.
Oh, low gravity. Here we go.
Oh no, like it's like bugged. Wait.
Then move around a little bit and then try
Yep.
again.
Got it. Got it. I think. Oh,
Restoring
oh.
your echo.
I'll try it.
Restoring your echo.
Okay, wait. Yeah, go ahead. Try it.
Dig up.
Sounds like there's a guy right outside here.
This guy, be careful, we're on low grav as well. There's guys just here.
Warning. Sectors will soon be collapsing.
Oh, guy right on me.
Low gravity event.
There's a guy in the roof of the building you're on.
Dead.
Oh no.
On the basement.
It's not over. I won't lose. Enemy there. Careful now. Enemy there.
Another guy.
Careful now.
Yeah, I'm fighting a guy upstairs.
Enemy
Yep.
there.
Ah, come on. Calm down.
Did you get that guy, Ethan? Oh no, just right here. Yikes. Yikes.
No kills, 1 assist each.
That's about right. That seems about seems about how we've been doing. Oh my god. That's like what you were saying though. It's like you get into the action immediately. So I think that's what's fun with it is it's just like you're like constantly in it and you get that adrenaline rush like immediately. You don't have to wait till till end game. Like you pick up a couple items, jump right in, and it's fun like right off the get. It's awesome.
You know, in some games, and again, I won't name them, but you can be frustrated if you play something else, and
We're playing
spend
Squad
ages looting
Cross.
things, and then you get them, then you're running through a field, and then someone snipes you in the head, and you're dead, and you didn't see anybody, you didn't.
Yep. Well, yeah. I mean, that's like I don't know. What do we call them? Like running
do a difficult
simulators, or
scenario, so-
yeah, we
Yeah.
call them like a running
Honestly-
simulator, where it just feels like you're just running, running and looting for 30 minutes, and then you're dead,
You
and
get sniped, and then you're dead, and that's it. It's
yeah,
like,
and then
that
the game's
was
over. Yeah,
fun.
yeah. Well, and you think about too, like a lot of battle royales didn't have a respawn system, when they came out. That's been a later development in those games. So it's like, a lot of times we were used to, okay, I got killed off, right off the, off the drop, and now I've got to watch my, 3 teammates play for 20 minutes or something, with no chance of coming back.
That's exactly what we wanted to avoid.
Mm-hmm. What's the approximate like game time? Like how long does a round last from start to finish?
If you win,
Yeah.
I think it's in the 15 range, give or take.
Okay.
Like 12 to 15 maybe, or 15 to 18, something like that.
That's pretty
Depends.
good, yeah.
I mean, I've seen some games with top tier players where they don't even get to the showdown because they killed everybody first.
That's yeah. I know.
That's
I've
just
seen
a lot, like,
I've seen some of those where these guys are like, 18, 20 kills or something like that. You're just like, what is happening?
just blitzed everybody, and then the showdown never happens because most matches at least get to the showdown phase.
Yeah. What triggers the showdown? Like what's the variable that triggers that?
I think it's number of players left. It's either time or number of players left. I'm not totally sure. It's
Okay.
one of those two things.
Okay.
And then it will go to the last phase. And then there's guys landed.
Wow. Yeah, I'm with you too. They're all over us.
I need a gun. I need a gun. Ah, no. Oh, come on.
First strike.
Ah, come on.
I can't find anything up here. I was thought maybe it'd be a chest or something.
Those guys landed before me, and there was 3 of them, and they had weapons. So
Oh
I
god.
didn't-
All right, I'm gonna just loot this house and then come back to Ethan there.
Job done.
Oh god, we did like the same thing again. Like,
Get to work.
Just got murdered in the first minute.
oh my god.
This is
What do you see? So you've been watching a lot of players. Like what have you been seeing like out of like aggressive players? Like what like how are they racking up these big kill totals? Is it just that they're landing hot and getting a lot of kills right off the drop, or like what are you seeing people like that are really
No, I
putting
mean,
up?
there's a variety. There's the guys who snipe a lot, and the good snipers are really good. Do you know what I mean? They'll pick you off from a long way away. You see a lot of that. And they just have good instincts and,
Sectors will soon be collapsing.
understand the map. Look when sectors are collapsing, think about where people are going to be coming in from,
Mhm.
and then they adjust a lot on the range and the weapon set, and they're just, they're just really
Constantly
intelligent. Yeah.
adjusting and that okay.
Like switch this, don't go with that. It's
armed.
Yeah.
Something
What have you seen anything that surprise? Like, what was something that maybe you've seen from like a top player or really any player where it kind of surprised you that they were using an item in a in a way that maybe you guys hadn't intended, or that you hadn't really considered someone using in that way?
I'll get the job done.
Like, was there any bit like any really creative like oh, did we lose him? Did you get booted?
Arming up.
Wait, what happened?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. It looked like it said you did like dropped out of the party or something.
I
Like
had no, I'm out now. I had
Watch out for
I'm still in
collapsed
UB. I'm in
sectors.
the office. We had I think the router, there was a router problem because my email just went off too. So I'm gone from the game, but it's not a game issue. It's just
Okay.
Well, I need to go after this, but I can answer a last couple of questions if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I got destroyed anyways. Let me see. Did they have anything? I had a couple other like small questions. What are some of the other like game modes that you guys would maybe like to see, or that you're kind of thinking about maybe implementing, that kind of thing?
I think there's. I don't want to spoil it. There's stuff coming in the open beta for sure.
Oh, so even before launch, you guys have some.
Yeah,
Okay.
totally. We have
Okay.
stuff planned. I think we'll be in the next video we do, but we'll have one mode called Turbo Mode. I won't tell you what it is, but it's Turbo Mode. And it's
Okay.
It's very turbo.
I love it. I love it. All right. Yeah, it looks like I got a reset. It looks like too. It looks like it froze up on me. Oh no, there it goes. Okay. Yeah, I think that I'm trying to think if there's anything. Does anyone in chat have any questions that they wanted to ask? Something that maybe we didn't touch on real quick before we let them go. I appreciate all the time too, Graham. This has been great. I mean,
Yeah, no problems.
we're definitely excited to play it, and I'm gonna be playing it a lot. So it's kind of fun to just get some insight and that kind of thing. Do you know how far a mine will follow? Like,
off the top of my head, no, but I know in the next patch we are going to adjust the mines and not make them as lethal as they are right now.
it's like is it like 50% health right now, or like at the top level?
I'm not sure. There is work coming on the mine, so the
Yeah.
next patch that comes out, which won't be too long, we'll have mine adjustments.
Okay. The other thing that before I got on today, or before I like started stream today, I was messing around a little bit with trying to reach. So basically, like messing around with the what's it called, the slam ability, and then the wall, and trying to see how high I could get. So it's at some point you do have it seems like there is a ceiling, so there's a maximum height. But then it also seemed like the abilities are disabled once you hit that max height. So like I wasn't able to jump above that. It was kind of interesting. I was just trying to see like, if I could get higher than a player would be able to see me, which it kind of works. But I don't know. I was thinking of some of like, different like, meme type things that you could attempt, or, different fun things like that you could try to do in the game that like, I don't know, using the abilities in sort of different ways, or, kind of creative ways, that kind of thing.
That's been interesting, and it's always learning for us because we've been on the game for a long time. So we have a certain view, for how the game plays, and we probably do things in a more predictable way just because we've played it for a long time and we know how it's designed. Seeing new players come in and play it and do crazy stuff, stack wall after wall, take the crown from showdown, go out into the decay, all these kind of things really change up how we both perceived and saw the game played before. So that's why the tech test was super cool. Like, we learn things every day from people playing, every single day. We get feedback from the community. I watch people play a lot during the day to see what they're doing, what's going well, what's not, and it really helps us to shape, and make the game better. So it's really important for me. That's why I take time to, sit and chat and play. Like, we love Hyper Scape, we love the game, we want to make it as good as possible.
Yeah, it's got to be cool to see people play it without that like bias, or really know like what the intent was with an item. So it's like they're just using it however they sort of want to use it, or however they think that it should be used. So then you sort of learn what people, learn things that you didn't, hadn't thought of before. And I don't know, it's cool. I think it's great. The one thing I'd kind of like to see is maybe in the future is doing items that, players can sort of use in conjunction with someone else's, hack. So that way, like, you could sort of like, do a little more teamwork with the hacks and like manipulate someone's hack with another one, or like have something that sort of complements, you know, in a more interactive way.
Yeah, I think we're always looking for opportunities for teamwork-based things. You know, we don't want to make them mandatory, but I think it's a good way to advance. You know, how do you do team tactics? But I've seen people doing that with hack usage. Then they drop the hack. You know, like they'll place a mine, they'll then drop the mine, then a friend will pick up, he'll place a mine, and then the other friend will place another mine, and then you know there'll be 3 mines around that group, and then they'll still have 2 hacks because they picked up the mine and placed it before. So there's a lot of different little kind of sneaky teamwork things that we've seen people do. But yeah, it's interesting to start it without any context for what it is or how it's supposed to be played, and then play it your own way. And that's taught us a lot, which is cool. I love that. I mean, this is what these phases are for. Like, you know, teach us things we don't know, help us to advance on, you know, on those topics. We learn different things, we fix them, we find those problems, and then we go forward and we make it better and better. And you know, that's the plan with the tech test, and that's the plan with the open beta as well.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time, Graham. This has been it's been a ton of fun, and it was really cool having you in chat the other day, and you know, offering to do this, and it got me all excited. And then obviously the game I've been having a ton of fun with, so it was really, really cool to have you on and just get a little bit of insight on, you know, something that I think a lot of us are going to be playing, and it's just in its infancy, right? Like it hasn't even launched, so we've got a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, once we come to launch and we're rolling with consoles and stuff, and come back on and chat a bit more about Season 1 if you want.
That'd be great. Yeah, especially once we get it onto Xbox.
Just reassure everybody and your viewers that, you know, we are coming to console and it won't be that long. I'm not giving any dates out, but it really won't be long. I wouldn't be too worried about it.
Yeah, I know that's the number one thing. Like everyone's like, dude, I love watching you right now, but like I can't play it, so like I'm not as excited about it until I can play it too. So
I cannot stress that it won't be long.
I know. Yeah, I appreciate it, Graham. All right.
Look, you know, that's the framing. It's the summer and it won't be long. But you know, the summer doesn't last forever, and it really won't be long. So people should watch their favorite streamers. You know, the concert guys, girls. They should link their accounts together. They should watch their favorite streamers. You should unlock the content in the Battle Pass. You can unlock it just by watching. You can unlock 2 tiers a day. You could then fill up the Battle Pass from open beta, so when they start in console, they'll get all their stuff.
Yeah, no, and I know I've got a lot of people that are excited about that they're actually getting items for a game that they're not able to play.
Yeah, because we don't want them to miss out. I think that's unfair. So this way, they're able to get all the content. So I think that's super cool. Right, I need to roll. Wish you a good evening. It was fun to play. We can do it. We can do it again at some point, and we'll try and actually kill. We'll try and actually kill people next time. Yeah.
Exactly. Play a little bit more. All right. Thanks so much.
Good. Thanks, fellas. Have a good evening.
Yeah, we'll see you. All right, later.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Yeah, how was that? You guys have fun? I think it was cool. I think next time, like you said, I got to get a couple more kills, play a little bit better. But otherwise, I had a really good time. It seemed like my computer was kind of not having the best time. Like my transitions weren't working and the outros and stuff weren't working. But otherwise, it was a good conversation. Could you guys hear him really clear? I know Cybers just came in and said that he was a little quiet. Was it pretty good for you guys though, as far as especially before we started playing the game? It's great that they seek out so much interaction with the community. It really is. Like, I think that the idea of getting the feedback from people this early is like, it's everything, right? Because it means that they're not just going to like throw stuff at you and then not listen to the community if there's issues or if there's things that they feel are unfair. Little low maybe. Okay. Well, we'll look at that. I mean, when I pull it off, I'm going to have it up on the YouTube. We're gonna do this. I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna just take like a quick couple seconds here, and then we'll just roll in and we'll do a little bit of a regular stream. I'll just play a few rounds and